athletes around the world. Let's bring them up! Woo!
What's up, everyone? How you guys doing today? All right. MVP! What's up, Chris?
I don't think that's my students greeting me with MVP. That's for you. Nah. Everywhere you go, you get started off with MVP. Do you hear those chants?
Every now and then, it's good to take a trip down memory lane every now and then.
It has to be pretty good.
It does.
Yeah. Are we excited, guys? Can you hear us? So the first question, 18-time All-Star, 5-time champion, league MVP, 2-time gold medalist, an Academy Award.
Yeah.
Why children's literature? What brings you here?
Well, it's funny, like, in starting my journey as a basketball player, I was inspired by a lot of athletes that came before. And inspiration is the most important thing that we have. Like first you have to be inspired, and then you need the information to try to make your dream become a reality. And so with my kids at home, it's all about trying to inspire them in a myriad of ways. And if we really want to change the world, we have to start with our young kids. We have to figure out ways to inspire them, figure out ways to teach them, figure out ways to be outstanding citizens. But like when you have kids, like if you tell a kid, hey, work hard, follow your dreams, or yada yada yada, they'll be like, yeah. Right? So how do we teach them in something that they love? In this case, it's sports. Because sports is the greatest metaphor we have for life. So through sport, we can teach our kids and our next generation how to be outstanding citizens.
So Kobe, you in your newest book, Legacy and the Queen, you dedicate it to, quote, my beautiful, spirited, strong daughters. What was their impact on this? Were they part of the creative process? Did you read this to them?
Yeah, they're part of the creative process. Like from the very beginning of coming up with the ideas, I always sit at home and I'll kick around different ideas, different story concepts, or different lines and things like that. There's been a lot of times when my daughters would say, "Dad, no, don't say that. That's absolutely 100% corny. Do not say no. That's a bad plot line," or whatever the case may be. And I tend to bounce things off them pretty often. And even more than that, it's like looking at them as children and some of the challenges that they may be facing. And as a parent, like you keep encouraging your kids, and after a while they tune you out. So how can I create stories that they can then learn from on their own, so it doesn't feel like my wife and I are just constantly preaching to them?
And with Legacy, this book, it's set in a world where tennis matters.
Yeah. We all know you from your basketball career, but it sounds like you're quite the tennis player too. So tell us about why you chose tennis.
Well, I play tennis. I don't play very well, but I like playing. But I wanted to create a story like the Wizenard series, dealing with basketball, is dealing with a group of athletes. And with a group of athletes, the most important thing to have is empathy and compassion. And they had to get to that place through their own fears, through their own journey. And so I wanted to have the follow-up book be focused more on the internal journey solely. And how do you deal with conflict within yourself and how it manifests itself in myriad of ways. In this case, your inner weather. And dealing with a competitor right across the net from you. And how those inner conflicts are become challenged by the person that you're facing. And so that's why I wanted it to be tennis. But knowing that I really don't know much about tennis, the first person I called was Serena. And we sat on the phone for like an hour and we just talked. We talked about technique, we talked about practice, we talked about the emotional struggles of being a young athlete from the age of 8, 9, 10, all the way up to now being one of the greatest athletes we've ever seen. What does that look like? And so I drew a lot of inspiration from her.
Did you happen to catch her on the court? Did you want to do that?
Yeah, well, watching her compete, yeah. Like I'm not gonna get out there and try to play against Serena. Like, I'm just not doing that. Like, you know what I mean? I you know, in doing some of the marketing for the book, I had a chance to build a great relationship with Naomi Osaka, and she's like a little sister to me. And we went out there and hit a few balls, and I was returning some. You know what I mean? It was fun. It was cool. And I said, all right, Naomi, like, hit me one for real. And she hit it, and I was like, all right, are you gonna like serve? She already served. I was like, what the? I mean, that ball went by me before I even knew she served it. It was scary. It was good. It was a reality check.
The OCC tennis team maybe could use you. You got some fusion eligibility.
No, they don't. If they want to win, they don't want me nowhere near that.
So in Legacy and the Queen, let me start first with the main character, Legacy. She was a really well-crafted protagonist of the story. So what brought you to her? Why did you think it was important to have a female protagonist tell the story?
Oh, because of my daughters at home. You know, like.
Not the money. Not the money. Kobe.
Kobe Bryant for president!
I love to be that guy. The Black Mamba.
Could be on that side. Where's the car
Stand by, we're working on sound. Stand by.
Dude, get a picture now. It's perfect time.
Không. Vô đây đứng nè. Mà đứng đây nữa.
Kobe, I've been on this campus since 3 a.m. from Las Vegas. You're awesome, man. You're my hero. I know that sounds corny, but I mean that. Got it?
We love Kobe.
Vô đây đứng nè.
Alright, you're good.
Không, vô đây đứng nè con, để lên. Ok, đứng ra thấy vào.
We're good? Alright, let me get over there.
Hey, remember when you went off on Jalen?
There we go.
We are back.
We're back.
We are back.
We're back. So I think the question was about Legacy as a character.
Yeah, as a character, Legacy.
Yeah. So visually, I wanted to create characters that look like my daughters. You know, hair, color, skin, things like that. I just feel like that's not as frequently represented in literature as we would like. And then a lot of the character of Legacy, I wanted it to be, I wanted it to be a strong character, but also have a sensitivity about her. And because from sensitivity, a lot of your magic, a lot of your power comes from that. I think a lot of times as athletes, we feel like being sensitive is a weakness. And I wanted her to be a great example for my daughters, for other young women out there, that your sensitivity is where a lot of your power and your inner magic comes from. And it was important for Legacy to go on that journey to figure that out.
Well, Kobe, that's one of my next questions. Both books had this concept of granite, this like internal magic.
Yeah.
That all the characters are trying to find and discover and then channel. What is granite? How does it sort of factor in our lives? Can we use it in our world today?
Yeah, that was the other thing that was really important. Is like for our stories, I wanted to create sports that kids could actually play, and like magic that is inherently in the sport, right? Like if you watch Leo Messi, you know, on a penalty kick, bend it around the wall. If that's not magic, I don't know what is, right? And so, and then on top of that is saying, okay, what are some of the challenges that we face as people? Well, it's our emotions. And how do we process our emotions? How do we deal with certain things like fear, anxiety, and this, that, and the other? How do we deal with that? And I just felt like we're not really teaching our kids those complicated messages. We tend to dumb down content for children and make things very simplistic because we feel like, okay, they can only handle but so much. Well, I feel like if we can give them really complicated messages at an early age, how to deal with emotion, how to deal with things good, bad, or indifferent, the world would be a better place from that. We just have to teach them to be self-aware of those things. And that's what GRANT is. And we're just teaching those lessons through sport.
I'm assuming from the crowd, you've created some magic in your life before, that you would have this show up. Just a quick switch. So the Wizard Art series,
Yeah.
it's radically different from Legacy and the Queen, as opposed to one person, with an opponent across playing tennis.
Yeah.
It's the story of 10 young men, basketball West Bottom Badgers,
Yeah.
and the structure of the book is really interesting. So can you tell the crowd about why you structured it that way?
Yeah, so originally it was supposed to be one book. It was going to be the story of Rain. But as I started outlining the character and outlining the plot, it became very apparent from my personal experience that I cannot make a basketball book focused on one player without touching all the other players. Because the journey of one affects the others. So then it became apparent, all right, I gotta tell the story of every single one of these kids and how one affects the other and vice versa. And that's how the structure of the book became what it is today. Because as you're building a team, you have to start individually with your own fears in this case, and then how your journey through those fears affect those around you. And then having a sense of understanding that even though I don't know what fears you've been going through, I know that you went through something, right? And so there's empathy and compassion built into that. And you can't be successful in life or certainly in team sports without having that.
So Kobe, the books are absolutely beautiful. Have you guys picked up your books yet?
He's his own publisher.
How much input did you have in how the books look and the design and the etching inside? It's really marvelous.
We're pretty obsessive about that stuff. It's our way of communicating to children that they matter. If we're obsessing over the fabric of the book. We're obsessing over the design inside of the book. It took us 2 weeks literally to design the barcode for Wizard Art, because we didn't just want to just slap a barcode on there, right? It has to be well cared for. And I just feel like it's important for us, when kids go to the store and they look at a book, they say, okay, there's a lot of thought put into this. They really care about our development. And that's why we do it the way we do it.
So I don't think I can get out of here without asking at least one basketball question.
Okay.
They would boo me off the stage. Which is a better feeling? Scoring 81 points in a single game. Winning an Olympic gold medal.
Yeah.
Winning an Academy Award. Or seeing your books come off the printing press.
Oh, man, that's a tough question. But I gotta say, personally, nothing compares to the feeling of winning an Academy Award, because, don't mean to sound crazy or anything like that, but I put so much work in on a basketball court that I expected to score 60, 70, 80. I expected to win 5 championships. But an Academy Award came out of left field, right? But that being said, all of those pale in comparison to representing your country. All of them. Because that's something that's greater. I mean, listen, man, there's no greater feeling in the world than, before competition, hearing your national anthem being played and looking around the arena and seeing everybody with their USA flags hand over the heart. There's nothing compared. It gives me goosebumps just talking about it. So winning a gold medal for our country is by far number one.
And you did it twice. So Kobe, just to let you guys know, I now know the secret. He told me in the back what's coming next. So that question has to be posed.
Okay.
What's next in the creative process?
Well, we have more books coming. So right now we're working on, so the Wizard Art series goes out 5 books. So we're working on book 2 right now. working on Legacy Book 2 right now, working on Epica Book 2 right now. We have a swimming novel that's going to come out that's more young adult oriented. That will come out in July. And so we have, there's at least 5 other stories from this world that are going to be coming out. And now we're working on converting these into feature films. Right, so we're hard at work, man. So the Wizard series will be a feature film, Legacy will be a feature film. All these will be in movie theaters and things like that. So with the same attention to detail. So as you can imagine, it's quite a bit of work.
That's sort of what you're known for, right? Doing work.
If you're gonna do it, you gotta do it right.
So guys, I think we're running out of time here. So I'll simply say, Kobe Bryant.
Thank you guys, thank you.
So Kobe, before you leave, we want to just make sure you never forget your experience at the 16th Annual Orange County Children's Book Festival. So we made you a plaque.
Thank you.
I'll read it for you, okay? It says, in recognition for your contribution to literacy and inspiring future generations of readers, Orange County Children's Book Festival honors Kobe Bryant on Sunday, October 6th, 2819.
Thank you.
And hopefully it won't pale next to your Oscar.
This is wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kobe. Really.
Thank you guys for coming out.
Thank you, Kobe!